Hi, I'm Holly Harris here at Don Odells studio. I host Spinning the Blues Saturday nights on WUMB in Boston. I am so excited to be sitting here with Steve Arvey, who's come up all the way from Florida by way of Chicago and Cuba. But we're so excited to sit down. I saw him last in February at a beautiful little place in Florida, and so now we get to sit down. This has been a long time coming.
Yes, it's great to be up here. It's an honor to be at Don Odells Legends. I mean, I've seen so many great artists and been introduced to so many people on the show. It's a great show with a wide variety of stuff, of music.
You've never been here before?
This is my first time.
Ah, welcome.
At Don Odells. I'm really honored to be here.
Totally welcome. Very cool. Very cool. And you look great. You look wonderful.
Thank you.
So tell me about your tour schedule here. Where you were just in Maine.
Well, I started a festival in Robbinsville, North Carolina, the North Carolina Cigar Box Festival. Well, it was the Robbinsville, North Carolina Cigar Box Guitar Fest. It went really good. It was their first one. Whole community came out, and then drove up to Virginia to record with Forrest McDonald. You know Forrest?
Love him, yes.
Yeah, Forrest is great. Yeah, I was at his studio and we had a great time. We came up with a lot of stuff, so you'll see that footage coming on YouTube.
Goody.
And then we went up to Maine to play the Maine Blues Fest. And
how was that?
it was great. It
rained.
I'll tell you, these people are so resilient, because if it rains in Florida, if everybody's you got to cancel it, because I produced blues festivals down there, and I was like, well, are you sure you don't want us to not? Nope, rain or shine. And all the people crammed into the Railroad Pub, and even though it was pouring, the main stage got wiped out. But I was lucky to go there, and then I saw old friends DW and a whole bunch of different
My
people.
Granite State Blues Sisters from New Hampshire were all there with
were
their
they?
blue capes on, loving everything.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
The whole town was fantastic. So then I was just up in New Hampshire doing some other videotaping.
I love this.
My life is really, since COVID, is doing a lot with shows like this and doing YouTube. My YouTube channel is...
It's booming.
It's booming, right.
It's blossoming.
Because there's people all over the world that actually are looking for blues and all different styles of blues.
Of course, absolutely. I want to go back a little bit, because when I was reading your biography, and I've known you really since you lived in Boston, and then ran into you again in Florida, but you're born in Chicago.
I was born in Chicago, 57. No, but I didn't. You lived in Boston, but I didn't live in Boston.
Oh, you didn't live in Boston?
No, I've never lived in Boston. I mean, I've gone out because of Hubert and Big Walter.
Oh, so you were on the road when I met you.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I was on the road, right,
Wow.
with Hubert. And
great. That was Hubert, that was amazing.
Well, that was the show where Hubert was late because Antone put him on the wrong plane, and then Ronnie Earl and David Maxwell. That's the first time I met David Maxwell, and they're like, Ronnie's like, do you mind if we sit? These guys sit in, and it was just like, sure, and it was just what a magical night.
Yeah. Oh, that's
so
amazing.
anyway, that's what happened. That was at the Tam O'Shanter.
At the Tam, and I was there.
Beacon Street, yeah.
I might have even been the MC of that show. I'm not quite sure what happened, but I remember being there and then catching up with you again in Florida. But how did you get to Cuba?
Oh, well, my father had a business there.
Okay.
So I was born in Chicago, and then in 57, and then in 58, I went to, we moved to Cuba. Actually, there's a documentary, if people want to see, called Frenemies, which is about the whole history, and one of the parts of that, which is very interesting.
I'd like to check that out.
Yeah, you can get it on Hulu or some of the, anyway.
I like it.
So that I moved to Cuba. Then, of course, the revolution came about.
Right.
We were a part of the revolution, but it was Bay of Pigs, and then we moved out of Cuba and went back to Miami for a while. My grandfather, then we're up in Chicago, and that's...
And then you came down to Florida.
Well, I came to Florida when I was 18 years old, and then I met Ben Andrews, who passed away, and there's Barrel House Chuck.
Oh, Barrel House.
Yeah, Barrel House had Garing's books, and I met him, and then, and so I got a lot of, actually, it was really great, the blues scene in Gainesville.
Oh, that book, that phenomenal book of the 70s of Gainesville's blues.
Right, yeah.
Wow. So, yes,
Then
Gainesville
went back to
happening.
Chicago, and then I ended up back in Florida because I was on the blues cruise, and then I met this girl, and she's like, I love you, Steve, move to Tampa.
Stay
so
here,
I did.
Steve.
It's always a woman involved in everything. I love it.
That's good. That's great.
That's what the blues is
That's
about.
what
It's about a man and a woman.
Themes of life and love, darling.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Tell me about your guitar playing, your music playing, because I want to get from the guitar boxes. I mean, how did this all come about?
Well, I've been pretty much somebody that likes guys like Ronnie Earl, like Dave Spector, Steve Freund. I've always liked the Strat sound, and have done that. Tommy Z, all these guys. There was a guy by the name of Microwave Dave, who plays cigar box guitar, and then also JP Soares.
Oh, JP's
so
great.
When I heard the sound of the 2 and 3 string instrument, it was really cool. I was never really into Mississippi Hill Country blues, and I've done a lot of work with Homesick James.
Right.
Sly. I never really,
but
really
you've
was
been
a
to
big.
Clarkston. You've been down there.
Oh yeah, I played. Yeah, but I never. I've always been a Chicago guy. I never liked slide. I always put the slide on somebody else or Homesick.
Slide it on over.
Yeah, and they played slide guitar,
Yeah.
and then I don't know. It was Craig Kenning, the influences. I just started playing slide, and I got really enamored by that Mississippi Hill Country stuff, and then started playing a lot of slide.
Burnsides, Kimbroughs, RL.
Yeah, the Kimbroughs, RL, all that. Then I started going back more into Mississippi Fred McDowell, and started doing a lot of that. And then I made a cigar box guitar. Actually, I've got it here tonight.
Oh, good.
That's the wrong fretting. It was a different type of fretting, and I learned a whole new style, which we'll hear, tonight during this show. But and then that all of a sudden ignited a whole new, because instead of 12 frets, it's 8 frets. Actually, the first one I made was 7 frets. So anyway, that started a whole new sound, and a lot of people liking that slide sound. And I still play a lot of regular Chicago West Side blues and funk, and all that. So
it's nice. Well, I saw you at the market, the Saturday market. You're playing like regular guitar, and then I met some of the guitar makers down there in Mayaka, right? And it's just fascinating to me, and it's just so beautiful. Is the tuning difficult?
No, it's really easy. I mean, it's just a 1-5-1. Sometimes it's some different tunings, but it's pretty easy.
All right.
Samantha Fish started with a lot of cigar box guitars, and people just love the sound of the instrument. It's a little different with 3 strings. You have wider strings. I have my own string company now.
What's that?
Killer Strings. Steve Arvey Killer Strings, and I supply a lot of strings to people. They're made in the United States.
This is great.
And so the strings are heavier, and it's just a different sound. But I still love to play jazz, Brazilian stuff. I was a jazz addict for 3 years.
Okay.
And I went to JA, jazz, and and I'm back into the blues. No,
We're glad to have you back.
Oh, I know. It was bad because
glad,
anytime
baby.
I'd like get together with like regular, all of a sudden I was doing too many.
What happened to
scales.
Steve?
It was like what happened to the blues? And people were they had to pull me out of that.
Well, I saw you at the Rooster. That was blues. That was still blues, but it was jazzy a little.
Oh no, the Monday night. No, I was addicted to jazz at that time. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's okay. I loved seeing you, and they had good fried
No,
chicken.
it was good. It was
good.
but
It was
you
good
just-
to see you.
I'm glad to be back in the blues.
Greatest influences. Some of your, aside from the Hill Country guys, some of your other fabulous influences.
Well, there's Homesick James. No doubt that he was a big influence. There's Andrew Brown. He was another great influence. I don't know if you remember who Andrew Brown was.
I don't actually.
He was a great blues man around the Chicago area. Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, Jimmy, I loved Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy was great.
Yeah.
I've actually got some tapes of myself. You go to my YouTube channel. There's a section called Chicago Blues Archives.
Okay.
So
there.
those are some of my big influences. I mean, there's a lot of the guys like Magic Slim and the West Side guys
Who were losing at a rapid rate.
Yeah, we are losing.
Yeah.
Buddy's still hanging in pretty good.
I saw Samantha Fish 2 nights ago with a young guitar guy named Eric Johansson opening up, and I saw Buddy with Tom Hambridge the week before that, and he was cracking. He was fabulous.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful, wonderful show, I have to say, and I think his name is Rick Farrell was playing guitar, and he sounded great. But you have music out. Tell people about the music, your music. How can they find you?
Well, you can find me either on Spotify or my website. I'm finally going to be putting out a CD. I've been selling music cards.
Yeah, I have one of those cards.
Right. They're for $20 for 87 songs.
Right.
But I am going to put some CDs out because an anthology collection and some new recordings I did with Kelly Rucker and some other people, and put that out. But most of my stuff is on the music cards where you can get.
And when will your new music?
Spotify or
Spotify. When is your new music coming out? Think in the fall, spring?
A new CD should be out by about October, because after I leave here, I have to go to Italy and then Poland and Switzerland. Then I got to fly back in August. And then I'm back over. I go back over to Germany.
This is wonderful.
And France and stuff.
Steve, I'm so excited. I know you did Byron Bay at one point. I am so honored to be sitting with you. I'm thrilled.
Oh.
I know I love you, but I'm just so happy that we finally get to sit down, here at Don Odells Legends. It's great. And tonight's show is supposed to be a very special show, a little wild, right? Are you in the band or are you featured?
Well, I'm featured.
Okay.
How can I say it? Memphis is great. Memphis wanted to play the Bradenton Cigar Box Guitar Fest, and I was a little bit like, well, I want to see more videos. And then he made some videos of cigar box guitars. Came on the fest, was incredible, and it was really kind of funny how we met. And then he started calling me to do some shows, and then I've been trying to be like a bit of a mentor, such like Eddie Kirkland, and to get him. He's actually doing some ballads now. This is great. And it's been really great with him. It's nice to see young. I've had Davidas. I'm doing a thing with on July 1st with Davy Knowles.
Oh, I love Davy Knowles. At Cottonwood?
No, at Bird Rock. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Davy Knowles, I was the first American artist he saw at the Isle of Man Blues Festival.
Where he's from.
Where he's from. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see the little short clip, but then you'll also see me going to his house. His dad passed away, but Davy always looks back, and so we've done some shows over the years.
Well, please say hi for me.
Yeah, I will. He's great. So I like to see young people, just like what Buddy Guy just did with Ali Venable.
Absolutely.
And it's good to see
Quinn Sullivan. I mean,
we got to keep passing the thing on. I mean, all those old guys, Homesick and Magic Slim, all these guys were always kind of wondering why young guys wanted to play, but it's been like they want to keep the music moving forward.
We have to keep the blues alive.
Right, got to keep the blues alive.
People like Memphis and his dad and winning the international blues competition. I mean, it's very important. But we're going to stop because we have an exciting show coming up.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be great.
It's going to be a killer show. I'm Holly Harris from Spinning the Blues, WUMB. I've been sitting with Steve Arvey, who's a dear friend, and I'm so excited for this Memphis Lightning show tonight. Coming to you live from Don Odells Legends Studios.